and this is a place for people who are deconstructing their faith or questioning their faith, and are just looking for a place to connect and chat. If you're watching this back on the replay, you should be able to see the comments as they come up. I know there's a setting somewhere where you can see that, because I'll just be responding to the comments. So it'll be a lot more fun if you can see those for sure. Rubes, you can't go outside right now. Not right now. Hi, Marianne. It's good to see you. Just sit down, Rubes. Ruby thinks it's time to go out, but it is not. It is late. I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, how about you? Hi, big girl. You want to see Ruby? Say hey. Yeah, who's a fluffy doggy? That's a good girl. Good girl. Well, happy Tuesday. Ruby likes getting chin scratches. Nice. Laying in bed. Oh, do you mean 4:30 in the morning? Oh, that's so early. Well, yeah, if you're going to get up at 4:30, 8 p.m. is a pretty good time to go to bed. I do not get up that early. Hi, Eve. Hey, Max. Good to see you. Hi, Autumn. Hello, hello. Hope it's going well. Happy Tuesday. Hi. I'm good, thanks. Hey, Absurdist. Hey, Brent. Well, we appreciate you stopping in, even just for a little bit. Okay, big girl, you want to come up? No. Well, for anyone who's new, hi, I'm Sarah. This is a place for people who are questioning their faith or deconstructing their faith. Hey, John. The animals are good. Although Ruby's, I feel like she wants to go outside, but it's too late. I don't want her to sit outside right now. Welcome, Vishal. Hi, Charles. Good to see you. Hello, Dr. Joe. Hi, hi. Oh, from Dubai. Well, hello. Oh, and someone from Jamaica. Hi. Really, Rubes? You need to go out? Yeah, I'm American. I'm sure you can tell by my accent. Hi, Jamie. What's with the tagline? So I don't think anyone deserves hell, actually. I don't think that you have done anything that has caused infinite harm. So I don't know why you would deserve infinite punishment. Yes, that is contrary to the Bible. I am disagreeing with that. Hi, Isaiah. Hey, Matthew. Good to see you. Welcome, David. Yeah, sin is definitely a religious construct, for sure. Well, hey, from Pennsylvania, Pezzo. Hi, Spark. What would you like to know? All right, we made it 6.5 minutes. That's pretty good. Well, Isaiah, sin is a religious construct because sin, in order to sin, you have to do something that displeases God. And if you don't believe there is a God, then you don't sin per se. You can still have things that are morally wrong without calling them sin. Oh, well, that's a bummer, Pezzo. I am familiar with the line, yeah. Ever my like whole backstory is on. I have an FAQ playlist, and I think it's one of the first videos in that playlist. I used to be a Christian, and now I'm not. Hey, Mary. Oh, thanks, Spark. Yeah, hopefully we have lots of kind people today. What is moral without God? So morality is a human construct, and it's when we find something objectionable based on the harm that it causes. If you want to say what's moral with God, for Christianity, it's just obedience. My bunnies are both Holland Lops. Hey, Rachel. So Isaiah, I believe that there are many actions that cause harm. And so by that definition, I would think that they are wrong, but I don't think there's like a universal right and wrong from like the perspective of the universe. It is certainly something seen through human eyes. The moral compass says, I think atheism fails to address the things we don't know. Well, yes, atheism is not meant to address the things we don't know. Atheism is just a term for people who aren't convinced that there's a God, and that's it. Sometimes though, theism is then jumping to conclusions that aren't supported by evidence. I think something that I have gotten a lot better about or more used to is being comfortable not knowing the answer and saying, I don't know, and leaving it as a question mark rather than kind of forcing an answer just because I'm uncomfortable not knowing. David says, I've completely deconstructed from Christianity. However, I can't convert to atheism. I'm somewhere in between, like deism, but still having a hard time dealing with whether a creator is good or evil. Yeah, it's a really interesting place to be, for sure. Ruby, hey, Oh God, what was that? Someone knocked something over. Were you chasing the bunnies, Rubes? What did you get into? I don't know. I don't see any trouble. Do you want to go outside? Is that what you're hoping for? You want to go outside? No? Okay. Okay, sorry. Thanks for coming on a little field trip with me. Tony? Yeah, Ruby's having a good night. Ruby, I just opened the door for you. What are you doing? Ruby is a humongous dog, height-wise, but she actually only weighs 80 pounds. There she is waiting by the door. Rubes. She's like, Mom, please, I need to go outside. Okay, fine, we'll go outside. You have to actually go this time. Okay? Come in. Come here. You want to come outside? Ruby, come in. She's so ridiculous. Rubes, let's go. Come on. You are a ridiculous dog. Rabbit is a menace. Yes, she can be. Seriously, Rubes, just sit down. But you lost your chance. She changed her mind. Mike says, nobody deserves hell. That's why Jesus made a way for us not to go there. So if no one deserves it, then no one should go, right? Like, if no one deserves hell, it would be unjust for someone to go, and God wouldn't let something unjust happen, right? She's yanking my chain. I mean, Rachel, you'd have to ask an archaeologist that. Because Adam and Eve allowed sin and death into the world. You're giving Adam and Eve an enormous amount of power. In fact, more power than God, if you think that wasn't what God wanted. No, hell is not respectful. That's like saying, look, love me or I will. Sorry, I'm trying to think like what metaphor is appropriate, but love me or I'll throw you in prison. Oh, you didn't choose to love me? Well, then you chose prison. No, I didn't. I'm just not in love with you. The greatest atheists return to religion? I have no idea what you're talking about. Hi, Meg. Welcome, Aaliyah. I have no idea who they are referring to as the greatest atheists. I have no idea what that means. No one has ever seen greater woman. No, moral compass, it is not at all. I cannot, like, you're framing belief in God's existence as if it's a choice. I cannot choose to believe in God. I cannot force myself to believe in God. And so now God is sending me to eternal torment for something I can't control. When you speak with Christians and they know your perspectives, do they make you feel guilty for not accepting their message? No. Although honestly, it's pretty rare that I talk to a Christian on the internet who genuinely understands what I'm saying. Isn't that good news? No, Mike, it's not good news. If I can't control my belief in God and I don't believe in God and God's going to punish me for something I can't control, that's very bad news. No, moral compass, belief in God is not a choice. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. Well, hey there, little buns. May, it's really too bad you didn't clarify your point. You made a claim with nothing to back it up, so I can't really respond to you. No, sorry, Mike. I genuinely don't believe he exists. So, moral compass, yes, beliefs do change, but you are not under conscious control to change them. Right? So, as you grow and change and have new experiences, You might be convinced of something new or stop being convinced of something. But Ruby, but that doesn't mean you chose to be convinced, right? So like right now, can you choose to be convinced of another God? If it's just a choice, just choose to believe in another one. No, I don't believe in Satan either. Santa, I know him. That would be interesting if someone believed in Satan but not Yahweh. I don't think I have met anyone in that particular position. Yeah, Cindy says you can't really believe something exists if you're not convinced they exist, especially when it's invisible and you can't see or hear or touch it. Oh, Mo, thank you so much for the super chat. Mo says, put this towards Ruby's dog treats. Oh, hashtag enhance calm. I will. Thank you. You know, not the point Mike was making, but to that point, certainly belief in God is a lot easier for some people than others. You know, so many of us are just wired differently where belief in God just makes sense to some people and it just doesn't make sense to other people. And that creates an inherently unfair situation, you know, where God is going to reward people to whom faith comes easily, even though that's how God designed them. Hey, Chip. Oh, that's awesome. We'll have such a good time with your daughter. Cute says, maybe we shouldn't ask, is there a God, but rather, what's the nature of God? Well, I would have to be convinced there is a God first, honestly. Hey, Rational. I do like cute puppies too. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, David. There's no way he subbed just for that. Oh, he sure did. You know, it's a pretty common pattern that I see where Christians see a live that they don't agree with or don't like. They drop in, dump some sort of preach, and then leave. I see that a lot. Hi, yes. You were just gonna say goodbye, Dr. Joe? Cindy says, I grew up believing because I was told he was real and I must believe or go to hell. I was taught obedience was number one. Never questioning authority was number two. Elbows, I have an FAQ playlist. If you would like to, okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's one of the top videos on that FAQ playlist, gives you my whole backstory. Oh, that's interesting. Former pastor turned rabbi. Hey, Michelle. Oh, Church of Christ has no musical instruments. I did not actually know that. Oh, David, no H. What happens when you die? I think, so my best guess is nothing, that we just cease existing. But, you know, I have never died, so I don't know for sure. Oh man, Cindy, I don't know that one. Well, cute puppies, why would you call that God? I mean, I guess that begs the question of what definition of God are we using? Hassan says, so we become worm food? Yeah, I guess. Joe says, I died once, but I'm better now. Well, welcome back. Is reality limited to what our senses perceive? No. Our reality, our experience of reality is, but no, I mean, it's completely possible that there's enormous elements of reality that we just aren't aware of. Kylie says, I'm sorry if you've talked about this before, but what's your thoughts on Sunday school? Is there good in it or mostly just indoctrination? So my own experience is only from Protestant Sunday school. And I imagine there is huge variation in what Sunday school is, even amongst different Protestant denominations. So I can only speak from my own kind of experience. And that was, you know, Sunday school was taught by whatever parent volunteer they could coerce to teach it. And man, it can do a lot of harm because, you know who has a lot of great questions about God? Kids. Kids have a ton of questions, real deep, important questions. And you have just like this unprepared parent volunteer to field these questions. Sometimes they just make stuff up. Sometimes they just say, stop asking questions, you know? So I think it's a very volatile thing. Like, you never know what's being taught in Sunday school. Well, we're very glad you're here too, Cindy. Oh, Kilo Whiskey, I'm really sorry. The traditional arguments for God tend to fail. Often they have a presupposition or a logical error some way. But at the root of it, an argument is not actually evidence. So that's also my perspective. If reality exists apart from our senses, what exists when our senses die? Whatever was still there. I mean, I don't think reality is contingent on our senses. How was something created then? So Michael, I don't know if the universe ever had a beginning. It may have just always existed. Um, but you'd have to ask the same question about your God. Why would your God exist instead of nothing? Yeah, I guess Charles ran out of patience. Yeah, well, to your point, Autumn, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a conversation where someone was a creationist and I changed their mind. Yeah, moral compass, I don't think philosophy is evidence. PL, are you saying right now you're experiencing that like what if kind of fear? Like what if you're wrong or what if God is real, that kind of thing? Nice, Charles. um, PL, if you are not already part of this, I would definitely recommend the organization Recovering from Religion. They have a lot of, they just have a lot of support. Like they have support groups and resources. Ranjit from India. Hi, nice to meet you. And so I would definitely recommend getting involved with that organization. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm not gonna do the Phil Bro thing. I'm a scientist. I need empirical evidence. That's Hi, Iab. Oh my gosh, Veronique. Do I believe in Jesus? I don't believe that he was a god. What evidence would convince you? Convince me that there is a God? Um, Physical evidence would do it, you know, like if I could see and touch and hear God. Well, hi, Sharon. Welcome. My apologies, Minute. I have not thought about Orthodox Christianity because I would first need to be convinced that there was a God. Can you see your heart or brain? Yes. Hi, Katie. I have read the Bible many times, the whole thing, all the way through, multiple times all the way through. And in fact, if you would like to see some more insight, on my page, I have a whole playlist of Bible study that I did with Justin from Deconstruction Zone. And we go chapter by chapter, deep diving in. So I assure you I have studied it, and I would encourage you to check out our video series. It's really fun. Hi, She. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Would it be more reasonable to a reasonable approach to assume it's your brain tricking you? So the thing is, like, right now, we don't ever see or hear or touch God, right? It's not part of our human experience. And so if for the very first time you see a God coming from the clouds, you might have that thought of like, gosh, is my brain just tricking me? But if God was here all the time, walking amongst us or appearing in the clouds all the time, we wouldn't think that our brain was tricking us because it would be expected and normal and, a part of our human experience. And so I I think that almost proves the point that it never happens. And so we might question it. Yeah, deconstruction zone is smart as hell. Absolutely. No, none of my friends believed in the September rapture. No, the universe existing is not evidence. Saying that everything that exists had a cause, you still have to apply that to your God. And you have to use special pleading to not apply that to your God. And when you say, no, no, God is outside of time. So, that doesn't apply to my God. Well, you've rendered your God essentially meaningless then. If you can cognitively accept that God may have existed eternally, then perhaps you can cognitively accept that the universe existed eternally. Hi, Bill. Hey, Wider Sky. Yeah, JK says, it's odd how God showed himself all the time in the Bible, but not anymore. Can matter create matter? Yes. I guess, I mean, I'm thinking more mass rather than matter. Maybe that would have been a better way to say that. Minuteman, thank you so much for the super chat. Minuteman says, hey, my latest recommendation for anti-God song, Bob Dylan, with God on our side. Fuck the patriarchy. Nice. Well, thanks, Minuteman. I appreciate it. Yeah, the whole like God is necessary is a form of special pleading. Thanks, Ehab. How can something that doesn't yet exist create itself? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense, does it? No, Pluto, I don't believe in either. But then you just don't have to have any rules for God. I mean, moral, you're essentially treating God as magic. Like, you don't have to make any claims about his existence. He doesn't have to follow any laws of logic or physics. He just is, and you're just accepting the fact that he is. That's also, to me, not using logic to demonstrate God's existence. If God doesn't exist, then what is the purpose of life? So y'all have heard me say this before, but my favorite answer to that is a Kurt Vonnegut quote. The purpose of a human life, no matter who is in control of it, is to love whoever is around to be loved. Thanks, Charles. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so I have. Or 42. The answer is 42. Yeah, I mean, Evander, though, I guess theoretically Noah came from Adam and Eve, though, right? Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. You told me your name and I forgot it already, but it's most of the last few letters of your username, right? Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It's really kind. And Herb, also thank you so much for the super chat. Says the purpose of life is also to keep the bunnies well fed. Indeed. Shall I find a bunny and give a bunny a treat? Are you a meaningless random accident? No, I mean, actually, I don't think I was an accident. I was planned. My parents made a conscious decision. The purpose of life is to be awesome. Yay! All right, let's see. Check. Oh, hi, Chex. Come here, baby. Oh, if I open my fridge, ooh. All right, come here, Buns. Oh, she comes. She knows. Are you gonna get a treat? Yeah. Oops, sorry. All right, get ready, Bun. Hold on. Oh, wait just a sec. Get you a treat. Okay, little bunny, there you go. Bye. Oh, you guys, special treat, meatballs here. Come here, pretty girl. It's like super dark down there. Come here. You wanna come up? I don't know, it's hard to see. Do you wanna come up, baby? Okay, you're being good, right in your litter box. Ah! Sorry, hang on one sec, friends. All right, come here, baby. There you go. There's Meatball. What a pretty girl. Good job. If you didn't know that you needed to see bunny crunchies, now you do. Okay. Say goodbye to your friends. They'll tolerate each other if they both have snacks. All right, cutie pies. It's the rare sighting of meatballs. Well, now they have lots of treats. Yeah, Autumn, they don't really like each other, which is a huge bummer. Crunch, crunch, they're so crunchy. Oops. Oh, yeah, I moved that. Okay. Oh, thanks, Thanks, Wider. Wider with the super chat. Thank you for the 666 super chat. Wider Sky says, my cat especially enjoys the bunny content. Aww. I bet they would be friends. Ehab says, what if I find both theism and atheism unbelievable? How should I classify myself? I mean, agnostic, maybe? SG says, evolution produced a species, the defining features of which are creativity, learning, and discovery. Embrace those features and enjoy. Multiverse, I don't think there was ever nothing. So you seem to have a straw man argument there. Untheist, nice. Then where did everything come from? I don't know. I mean, both theists and atheists, I think, land in the same place. Why is there something rather than nothing? I don't know. Methyst. Nice. I mean, yeah, cute puppies, you know, I believe in sort of like a constrained free will or like a limited free will. I mean, we have the ability to make some decisions, but also so many of our decisions are made subconsciously before we're even aware of them. What do you mean by the spiritual? Because it's such a broad term. People can mean all kinds of things by that. Is leaving faith bad if one is angry with that faith? I don't think so personally, but I don't think you need my opinion on it. You know, I think you do what you genuinely think is the right thing to do. So multiverse, like, I don't believe in anything supernatural, like spirits or ghosts or demons or angels or anything like that. Man, I haven't seen Free Willy in such a long time. Well, I would not agree with James Cameron. How about interdimensional? You mean like per your username, like if there's a multiverse? Is that what you're asking? I mean, it's, I don't know, possible, I guess. You know, it's interesting. She, like, while I have a lot of deconstructed Christians who come in here, I think in some sense, deconstructed people have fewer questions, you know? So it's like, we want a space to hang out with each other and chat, but there's, in some sense, not as much to chat about, you know? Like, I'm not saying anything that you don't already know. Jude says, why do you risk the chance of hell being real? So, Jude, you are risking that too. You are risking that in other religions. other religions have hells, and the people who are participating in those religions, they believe that their hell is real just as sincerely as you believe that your hell is real. So you are actually taking the exact same risk that I am. Thanks, Bill. Thank you for the super chat, Bill. Bill says, how dare you not know where the universe came from? Just plug in magic explanation. Rational, how dare you? My eyes are green. That's green. Thanks, Autumn. Multiverse, if hell is just the eternal separation from God, is it not so bad? Like, is it fine? Would you stream from a haunted house or a haunted remote location if you don't believe in the supernatural? So I would not be afraid of ghosts. I mean, I might be afraid of a human coming to harm me, but I wouldn't be afraid of ghosts or spirits, no. Thank you, Autumn. Yeah, so multiverse, what you're saying is you're creating, like, anyone who doesn't believe in your God is going to suffer for eternity. And I can't think of anything more evil than creating beings who are doomed to suffer for infinity. Yeah, soul. Bad floors, broken glass. I'd be afraid of those things too. She says, my hell was church. Cindy, no, this is blue. This is green. Autumn says, collective leaf, if enough of us band together down there, we can make hell a better place. Oh, it's actually kind of beautiful. You know, it's interesting the way that Christians talk about hell is so much like, I'm going to out myself as a millennial here, but how in Harry Potter, the prison Azkaban is like exactly how Christians talk about hell. I will accept blue-green. No, I never watched God is Not Dead. I have seen some clips and they turn their atheist characters into such preposterous caricatures. No. Soul says, heaven for the climate, hell for the company, as Mark Twain put it. Oh, blue-gray. I've never heard that. John says, are there many theists or deists here that choose to not believe in the Bible but still think the universe is a creation? So again, we don't choose our beliefs, but I do think that there are many people who are deists or theists, but not biblically so. Hypothesis testing. Hi, closer to the camera. Sharon says, most atheists live lives that are indistinguishable for the most part from their Christian counterparts. Yeah, sometimes I get the question from Christians like, oh, you just wanted to, oh, yay, I got a green. But Christians who will say, oh, you just wanted to live your lifestyle of sin. And it's, Like, bro, we have pretty similar life. Thanks. Cute Puppy says, really enjoy your Bible study with Justin. Who knew that atheists would have the best Bible insight? Yes, please do check out the Bible study I have on my page with Justin from Deconstruction Zone. If you like Justin from Deconstruction Zone, it's great. He is great, and we just dropped a new episode tonight. So there's a brand new one up there. Oh, David, you're a meteorologist? That's cool. Jordan says, my husband is a theist who doesn't believe in the Bible as historical text, but does think Earth was created by God. Who chooses our beliefs? No one. They are not a thing that is chosen. Eve says, when you are close to the camera, your eyes are much greener. Nice, David. Nice. Yeah, Michelle, so many of us live pretty boring lives. As someone said earlier, we're not twirling our mustaches. Hi, Sloshy. Oh, nice, Wider. Oh, big sigh, Roops. Do people choose to like potatoes? Man, if I could, I would choose to like broccoli. David says, I love science. I wish life gave us more time to figure things out. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, she. No, 11, I don't. Hey, Jordan. So it was a long process, and I have an FAQ playlist, and there's a whole video about like why I don't believe anymore. Well, hey, Martini? Anyway, hi. I'm glad you're here. Oh man, John. Yeah, that's an intense annotated bibliography then. 6 says, hey, you and Justin should put your Bible study on Spotify as a podcast. That is my homework tonight, is to figure out how to do that. That is in the works. That is the plan, so that we could have a podcast. Wider says, I'm about to do sinister atheist things like take a shower and have a popsicle and watch a movie. No. Yeah, I'm super excited to convert it into a podcast. I think it'll be good. Well, thanks. Oh, that's super interesting, Jordan. Well, yeah, welcome. Please, come hang out, look around. How exactly does God not exist? So to be clear, I am an agnostic atheist, meaning I am not convinced that there is a God, but I cannot prove that there is not a God. Have fun, Rational. Yes, peaceful. We're doing a Bible study and it's actually been so fun because, I'm looking at this text from such a different perspective than I did when I was a Christian. Yes, Jude, there have been. And actually, Jude, if you're interested, I have so this Bible study that I've been doing with my friend Justin, who is a biblical scholar, um, we're going through the Bible chapter by chapter and we're pointing out all of the contradictions in it. So I think you might really enjoy those videos. They're right there on my page. You're welcome, Truth. BF says, I was brought in a religious home and believed in God for so long, but there are so many questions that cannot be answered. So I'm wondering if there really is a God. Well, hey, BF, welcome. You're in good company. Hey, Ekta. She says, I think actually reading the Bible convinced me the most that it made no sense. Oh, that's exciting, Mart. Sloshy says, proving the non-existence of something is impossible, but that doesn't mean you should assume it exists. Well, particularly when the thing is invisible and intangible, I mean, if I were to make a claim that I'm holding a lemon and it's just a regular normal lemon, there's clearly not a lemon in my hand, right? So some things we could prove that way, but if I'm saying, um, Dawkins does a whole thing about this, but if I say, okay, I'm holding a lemon in my hand, and you say, I don't see it. Oh, it's an invisible lemon. Okay, can I feel it? Oh no, you can't feel it. It's not tactile. Can I smell it? No, it doesn't have any smell. And at some point, it's irrelevant whether there's a lemon there because it's exactly the same as if there was not one at all. Yes, I respect humans. She says, I feel more at peace now than I ever did as a Christian. Oh, Kilo, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Why do I respect humans? Yeah, as Autumn says, I have empathy. Ooh. On Ken Ham. Oh man. Yeah, I don't have any. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Sharon says, I have more respect for life as an atheist because I know that this is all we got. And it's not just a training ground for some afterlife. Isaiah, I hope you're being sarcastic. The bunnies are good. Ecta says, the only good thing you can say about Ken Ham is that he isn't Kent Hovind. That's the guy who's in jail for domestic abuse, right? I was not disowned by my family. No, I'm lucky. You know, my parents were very sad and it was hard. But I still have a good relationship with them. So, Isaiah, there are millions of devout Christians who love Jesus and dedicate their life to their faith who do not agree with Ken Ham. I don't think believing what Ken Ham says has anything to do with your Christianity. Ken Ham's the guy that built the Creation Museum and the replica of the Ark. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Peaceful. The one and the same, Eve. Does God require our belief to exist? I would not think so, no. Cole, I left Christianity because I stopped believing it was true. So Isaiah, yeah, Ken Ham just keeps putting out false information. His grasp on science is very poor. And so if you want to learn about science, you should get that from a scientist, not from, a theologian. So Isaiah, I actually have been to the Creation Museum, and so many of his views on creationism, on what science is and how it supports the Bible or doesn't support the Bible are truly just false. But the thing about Ken Ham is he is also taking advantage of people. right? So, like when he built this ark, he's saying that it was built to biblical specifications, and yet, he had to add a ton of extra steel support beams to make this thing stand up. And he's charging people $50 a head to go see it and added a gift shop. Like he's taking advantage of people as well as being wrong. Which of these things are false? His saying that he has built a exact replica of the ark. He has not built an exact replica of the ark. That is false. I actually, if on my TikTok, I have a whole video about it. It's a lot, and if you genuinely want to talk about it, I'm happy to have a longer conversation. If you can come find me on TikTok, having a business. So I say that he's not just having a business, he's committing fraud. He is taking advantage of Christians by saying that he has done something biblical and Christians are paying $50 a head to see this, and he's lying. What he has done is not biblical. You're paying for a lie. That's not just being a businessman. He is using the Bible to make money off of believers. You are being taken advantage of. Yeah, it's not to the same specifications. The whole thing was, Ken Ham was saying, look, I'm going to follow Genesis and I'm going to make the boat exactly the way it was, so to prove to you that it could work. And he literally was physically unable to, because the specifications in Genesis defy the laws of physics. That boat to those specifications would snap. And so he had to modify it, right? Like he's taking you for a ride. All right, Isaiah. What's that phrase? It's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. Oh yeah, Pezzo. Thanks for watching that. Hi, KF. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, Justin is so knowledgeable. Absolutely. Well, to me, Chris, the difference is I imagine the vast majority of church leaders genuinely believe what they're saying. Yes, Justin has his own YouTube channel. It's Deconstruction Zone. Oh, Can Best, hi! Thank you so much for the super chat. That's really kind. Can Best says, hey, leaving faith, love what you do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're welcome. Cole, I have an FAQ playlist, and so what my one of my first videos gives you like the whole backstory on why I don't believe anymore. But the short answer is I just don't believe it's true. D-Rock says, if you know you couldn't be convinced otherwise, you are admitting you're thinking dogmatically. Yeah, I mean, there was, I think it was the debate between Ken Ham and Bill Nye the Science Guy, but I'm not sure. But the moderator asked Bill, like, or whoever the non-creationist was, you know, what would convince you to change your mind? And the non-creationist said, you know, evidence. And I think it was Ken Ham who was asked, well, what would convince you to change your mind? And he says, absolutely nothing. Yeah, so Isaiah, I would also encourage you to start consuming some content, reading some books, some articles that would question Ken Ham. And maybe see where that takes you. Oh, well, friends, I think I had better call it an evening. Thank you so much for such a great conversation tonight. I really appreciate it. I will be back here on Thursday. Let's see. Yeah. And then I'm on TikTok most of the time. So it's the same handle over there on TikTok at Leaving Faith. And please do check out the Bible study that's posted here on my page here with Justin from Deconstruction Zone. It's really good. I think you'll like it. And yeah, I'll see you all on Thursday, hopefully. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.